So that shiny new game just came out, Vampire Crawlers, and you want to know if it's worth your time, right? Well, let's take a look at the game for some first impressions. Keep in mind this is not a full review, this is a quick look at the game. I played this game for 2 hours, and I'm sad to say that this game is just as addicting as Vampire Survivors. Vampire Survivors from 2022 is a top-down game where the action is constant and you need to always be vigilant. And of course you have all of the addicting upgrades too. This game, Vampire Crawlers, is that same addictive upgrade process, but now in first person, using slower turn-based combat and now also adding cards and a deck into the mix. It's more laid back and slower to play, but it's just as good. Every map is very small, and each map will have a couple different pathways that you can take. You'll see skulls on the mini-map, and that is the combat encounters. You don't need to fight each enemy to beat the level. You could skip some of those and go to the boss fight. The skull with the horns, that's a boss fight. Once you beat that, you can move to the next stage. So you have a map, and then you have a level 1 of that map, which is what you start the game on. Level 1 of the Mad Forest. Then within that map is 3 stages. Once you beat that first boss, you load into the second stage of that map, and then you'll repeat this until you fully beat the map. When you fully beat it, a Reaper will appear and kill your character, and it'll say stage completed. I don't believe that each map has 3 stages each. I think some maps actually have more stages than just 3. I think it might go up to 6. Once you clear a stage, and then you go back and look at the map, you'll see that you unlocked level 2, or difficulty 2. Instead of it being called Mad Forest, level 2 is now called Furious Forest. Then once you select that, you just do the same thing. You fight enemies, you fight bosses, and you try to beat it. When fighting, you'll see icons on the top left and right of the screen. These are a combination of 2 things: limited in-game buffs and permanent buffs that you bought before the game even started. So the candles that you see on the top left of my screen, that is splash damage increase. I bought a 10% increase, which is permanent, so now every run that I go on has that increase. Now that leads to the limited in-game buffs. You can also get more splash damage as well as other buffs while on that specific run. So that 10% could become 30% or 50%. It just depends if I select that during that game. Or I could get another buff, like on the top right you might see a 4-leaf clover, which is increased luck. You have a limited number of cards in your hand as well as limited mana to use those cards. Some cards are defensive like armor or offensive like the King Bible attack. Then you have some modifiers. Some cards will add more mana, some will draw more cards, and so on. There's more modifiers. When you fight an enemy, you'll see a sword icon with a number above them. That means that when they attack, they'll do that much damage. You want to either kill them before they attack or apply enough armor so that you can cover their hit. If you don't block them, your health points will drop. Health points do not regenerate, and finding health is quite hard. It doesn't happen that often. One thing that sucks is armor. So if I apply 7 armor and then I end my turn, and then the enemy attacked and did 4 damage, that would leave me with 3 armor, right? Wrong. It resets to 0 every time it's your turn. That makes it a lot more difficult to cover their next attack because you might not even draw any armor cards the next hand that you get. Then you're going to take damage unless you can kill them. But there is a power up that you can use that will give you permanent armor for that run too. You just got to be lucky to find that. Then you have mana to keep track of. You have very low mana, and some cards can even take your full mana amount. There are cards that add more mana and some cards that take 0 mana too. You'll need to keep track of your mana. Also, I'm not fully certain about the enemy attacks. Sometimes they go at the end of my turn, and sometimes I can attack multiple times in a row. I don't know why that is, but what I do know is that if there's multiple rows of enemies and you kill the front row, then when the second row moves forward, I think that counts as their turn because I've never been attacked when they move forward. When you kill enemies, you'll get blue XP gems, and then when you level up, you'll get a card choice. So levels are pretty important so that you can get those cards. You can also modify the cards that you get if they have a gem slot, and also if you happen to find a gem. You'll get a choice of different gems to choose from, and if you do have a card with a free slot, you can apply it. These gems have various functions. It can add more damage, it can reduce the mana cost, you can add more armor, and so on. If you happen to find a gem but don't have a card with a free gem slot on it, then you can either leave it and come back before you end that level, or you can just take gold instead and move on. Each map has different enemies, and as far as I can tell and remember, it's all the same enemies from Vampire Survivors. This game pretty much reuses everything from Vampire Survivors, but implements it into a different type of game. Besides fighting enemies and bosses, you'll come across some other items too. I think it was a vending machine that I came across. I could sacrifice a card for a bonus, or a chest that you can sacrifice cards to open, or sometimes there's just regular chests. I did also come across a food stand once where you could buy more health. Then there's some destructible items too, like different light sources, some walls, a wooden cart, and other things. These will give you random power-ups, health, or gold. Now let's talk about the village. This is where you will be before each game that you play, and this is where where you buy permanent unlocks. As I played the game, I unlocked new locations for the village, such as a blacksmith. What I have now is the power-up shop. Here I can upgrade things that have permanent effects, like more splash damage, armor that isn't temporary, but it looks like for armor, the max that you can buy is 3. You can get permanent XP upgrade, more luck, and so on. Relics is a location that shows you some other unlocks, but you can't do anything there. These are things that are found while in the game. Blacksmith lets you add more gem slots to cards. World map is where you begin the game. You can choose what map and what level to do. I was unlocking more maps as I played, so I'm not sure the total amount of maps. The crawler section lets you choose which character that you play as, and each character has their own stats to them. You'll need to also first unlock those characters as you play, and then also buy them. Arcana is another power-up, and it's permanent too. Well, if you have it applied. You'll need to first unlock these cards as you play, and then here you can choose from the cards that you have for whatever effect that you want. I currently only have 2 cards here that I can choose from. The visual style to this game is very pixelated, which does make sense, seeing as how Vampire Survivors is too. And this game is also very easy to run. The performance was really good. This will be yet another addictive game for you to play. You just play, play, and upgrade. It's very simple. Overall, I do enjoy this game, and I think most people will also enjoy this game, though that's my personal opinion. Whether or not this is your type of game, I'll see you on the next one.